Have you ever been stuck on a blog post idea and can't think of what to write? This video is for you. I'm going to show you today how to use Conversion.AI and Jarvis to make writing blogs even easier. Hey, my name is Josh, and I know that sometimes coming up with ideas for blog posts can be tough. Luckily for you, today we're going to learn how to Hi, my name is Josh, and I know that sometimes coming up with ideas for blog posts can be quite tough. For you, luckily today, we're going to talk about Conversion AI and how Jarvis can be used to really create some great content ideas, along with help you with the long form content generator to get the best quality out of what you're writing. And all we need today is just your computer Conversion AI subscription, and you'll be able to take a look at this and start generating some content. I'll put the link in the description below. They are affiliate link, so if you do click, I get credit for the sign up, and the little bit helps. Conversion AI. There's been lots of people who've posted a whole bunch on Conversion AI from all kinds of the blogging world. There's some tricks and things you can do to make the long form content writer work better for you and to give you the results you're looking for. Today I just wanted to kind of explain how you can utilize the tool more than just long form content, but how you can actually build a post and actually get the content you want within each section, as opposed to just clicking a button and hoping, and I guess believing that it's supposed to write the whole post for you on your behalf. I mean, Jarvis is more of an assistant for writing. It isn't a content writer. Or I hope you get my point. So let's go ahead and jump in. When you first get into Conversion AI, you'll have a lot of options as to what you can use. And there's a massive amount of tools in here for a lot of people that I think most people don't realize. A lot of people really just want to jump into this, and there's definitely some real benefits to this part for writing. I mean, there's even people who've written 200-page books that are selling on Amazon now. So, I mean, you can use it and build out exceedingly long content without a problem. But I'd be remiss to not explain other parts. When you look at these, this is easy ways to try and pull people into content. So, using this to get their attention, build interest and desire, and then the action, or problem, agitate, solution. So ways to keep people pulled in and engaged into the content. And then you have some of these other things that are more a way to expand upon what you have and make them more interesting than just being your generic benefit statement. Then e-commerce, Content Improver can take a sentence and make it far more interesting. So if you have a really bland sentence, you can actually input it into this, and it'll turn around and output it as a more interesting, engaging piece of content instead of the previous. Product descriptions. So this is easy. You can take and grab everything from Amazon, paste it in, and basically have it help you rebuild a better, more interesting product description than the default that's provided. And then the same thing for these for Amazon specific. So these ones can all be used to help you create better reviews, especially in today's age with Google and the recent update for product reviews and trying to make them better. This helps you because you can take the bullets that are on Amazon and have it actually make better information that's different from what Amazon lists about the product. This doesn't mean it's all correct. It does mean you should go back through and make sure everything is truthful, because Jarvis is an AI. He's taking content and ideas and reweaving them into something for you. He's not a scraper. He's not. That's why you shouldn't get much in the way of copyscape. You shouldn't get much results with them unless it's a very generic phrase or sentence that many other people would have already said, because there are some frequent sentences that are said within the blogging world that are fairly repetitive. But the power for Conversion.AI and the reason why it costs more than just long form content editors and other AIs is many of these tools, though. This stuff allows you to build things that will get people to open your emails. We all should be building email lists. This stuff help you build a website that pulls people in. So when you're building landing pages, how do you get people to keep reading and move down? Then there's tools to make your blogs even better. Ads, so the way you can get people from other content to your content. And then bio, so help you build an about you, a company bio about a company. Like, there's a lot of stuff here. Supposedly people read it longer if it's written and rephased to be understood by, I think it's in like 5th or 6th grader. So this can take and actually convert text you write into something much simpler. It's like superly complex and you want it to be readable by a normal non-person in your expertise, then this may be a good way for you to import your content into to clean it up and make it easier for a layperson to read. Video. For this video, there's a script hook and introduction that I just did. Titles, outlines, all this stuff. This is the stuff that makes this worth the money you're paying. Not only the long form. Long form's worth $99 because it's what I would pay for maybe, one post or 2 posts. So we're going to go ahead and just kind of make up a post today. So, all right. So what we're going to do is just look up best ball and for drawing. We're going to take that and we're going to go ahead over here and we'll go to content. Go ahead and actually we'll start with long form assistant. And we'll do long form assistant. So you can do blank, which just helps, creates a static blank document for you to start on, or the assistant to help you get started. So what we're going to describe here is just, the 7 best ballpoint pen for drawing, art, and calligraphy. And then I have no clue what I want it to be. So I'd like him to provide ideas. So he's going to go through and you can keep generating as it tries to make up titles for you. The less you put in here, the better these will be able to go a little bit more interesting. So now if you generate more, you're not tying it down to a specific. So now see how it opens up? It's, getting a little bit better. So we'll just do that one because it's all fancy. And I don't know what to do for the intro, so we're just going to go ahead and have it make one. This just is to get your brain flowing. It's not to do everything for you. But when you look at these, you can come down here and look and just see what sounds interesting. So, you've got, when it comes to art, there's many different tools and mediums that can be used. The thing with every tool medium you use is they all have their own pros and cons. Ballpoint pens, for existence, are a wide variety that allows for great drawing and calligraphy. I'll answer these by reviewing 7 different brands so you can find the perfect one for your needs. I actually kind of like that one. So I'm going to go ahead and use that one. So now you can see your titles here. If you click on it, you can actually update these. And when you come down here, you get your stuff. So inside the long form editor, you have 2 different sets of commands. Jarvis always reads the last 600. So Jarvis reads the last 600 characters and uses it as reference. So it uses the title, the description you built, and then the last 600 characters. So there's only 442 characters here. So it's going to use everything here to build the next whatever you try and build. So if you're happy with that, what you do then is the 2 hash marks symbolizes a header. Not that it's an H2, not that it's just a header. So Jarvis knows that you're interested in this. So let's just go find I don't know anything about pens. So we're just going to go ahead and put that. So we're telling Jarvis by doing this that this is the first thing that we want to talk about as a header underneath this. So it's going to take into effect and read all of this into context about creating this content for us. So actually, so you never want to leave on a sentence, or on a enter. So you put the round stick big pen is, popular with writers do, and then this is where you want to start it. So you want to start Jarvis here, midway through, because what you're looking for is for Jarvis to take and read this as your intent, along with this context, and actually create something for you. So we can see what he's going to give us. I've never written anything on pen, so as you'll see, look, comfortable grip, weight, and balanced. Pen is a great investment. I mean, this is pretty straightforward. So we can go ahead and just end it there. And it's always going to end in partial sentences. It doesn't write till the end of sentences. It writes an output length. So it writes X amount of characters, 600, 400, 200. Whether that's in the end of a sentence, beginning of a sentence, it doesn't really care. So after there, you have to make edits. So you either edit what's here, or you continue to add on, and you say, in this case, the single biggest drawback to so again, the single biggest drawback, and in this case, I just want a shorter result back. So I wrote the single biggest drawback to round stick big pens is, and compose will come back after you've added enough context for it to know another direction to go. So now we're going to say, write for me, then color result. See? Very specific, very on track. And then I always just remove these end sentences. You can look at them. They may help you go in a different direction. So now, if you don't want it to take any of this, so obviously the next header, right? The next header. Let's go find one. What do we got? There we go, the Pilot G2. So when you go into here and you have the Pilot G2, the problem is now it's going to take this into context, right? So there's 1158. So what you're looking at is probably, something like this that this is going to look at. And obviously when it writes about a Pilot G2 in this, it's going to probably deviate off into something that makes no sense. So instead, what you want to do is at the end of a part, you can put 3 asterisks. 3 asterisks tells it I don't want Jarvis to go any higher than these 3 dots. So he's going to read this, he's going to read this, and he's going to read this. And that's all for the next content. So the same thing we can do here is, the G2 is loved by writers. And then at the end of the sentence, so Pilot G2 is loved by writers. So this is just going to go in and get stuff, and see, it's going to go off sometimes. I don't know how old the Pilot G2 is. So the other thing you have to remember is the training for OpenAI, which all of this is based off of, was done from a subset of data from 2019 from Google. So if your context of what you're trying to search for is an item that was created in 2019, 2020, or 2021, it's probably going to be far worse at providing you useful information. But it's AI, so just like in programming, if you code good, so if you provide good input, you get good return back. The more you give it, the more you pre-write before you tell it to give you information, the more you're going to get back from it. As long as you use these controls to stop where it's reading from, and you give it headers, and then introduction and some feeding info, you can easily start to write an entire document from here. So there's a lot of ways to get through this, and I mean, you can tell, we've been at this for 20 minutes maybe, and I'm already at 316 words. So, I mean, we're a third of a way through a 1,000-word post without any effort whatsoever. And this is not saying you should really honestly spend your time doing your diligence and learning. I mean, you should know these pens. You should know where you're wanting to go, what you're looking for. Because this part is all useful, right? You could figure out that you want to come talk about this part, right? And that's not copying. That's just, I like that this makes sense. The benefit of this pen is that it comes in many different sizes, right? So now you just say, let's go ahead and let's continue off of there. So what happens now is, again, it's only reading from those 3 stars about the Pilot G2, and it's just going down, trying to grab at all the information and thoughts it can about that. So if you like their sentence, right? So however, what most people love about this is how strong and durable they are, along with, and now I leave it open again. Along with, there you go, the refillable ink cartridges. So hopefully this makes more sense and helps everybody understand. What you need to do is learn to use these to stop input so that it won't read before then, and then build headers so that it knows the header is the focus of what it's supposed to be. So then the next one, when you come down to the next one, then you do the same thing again. Now you're the Pilot G3. And this is going to help you get through. So the only thing else you could do is up here, instead of having your content description just be this, then you would have this be, pros of, cons of writing pens. This doesn't have to be some huge word salad. Make it specific and to the point of what you're trying to look at, and this just tells Jarvis what this content is supposed to be. It's almost like the brief that you would build if you were going to feed a writer specifically what you wanted them to write on. Keep this short and to the point. I mean, focused on what you're trying to get out of it. And I mean, it's not going to be able to do everything for you, but it can get you 99%. And then all you have to do is take this, copy it all, and just go open Notepad, right? And then you paste in a Notepad. Now you can take it, you can copy everything and go paste it straight into Word or into WordPress, and then add in, swap out these. Now that's a header. Delete these out. Now you're up and running super fast, and you've got content that you can be, ready to publish in near instant time. I mean, right now on average, I think I can average almost 3,000 words a day in about an hour's worth of time if I sit down and have an idea of what I'm going to do. So, I mean, you should always have, before you start, you want to have your heading, an idea of what your post is specifically about. I would typically want to have my subheaders, so where I expect myself to have my headings done. Then I'll want to know every time I'm going to do a new heading where I don't want it to take into context any of the previous information. You would just start right before that heading with those 3 stars and force Jarvis to say, I'm only interested in writing about this subject with these context. And that's it. And then the more you feed in, the better. And that you never stop. Don't write, Pilot G3 is awesome, period. You're not leading Jarvis where you want to go. Instead, it's the Pilot G3 is awesome because compose. Now he knows where you're trying to go and can start building context around that. So, as to cleaning up content, one thing many people don't seem to look at is if you highlight content, you can actually rephrase this. It can fix the grammar for you and make it more creative. Creative is good, except for it has to be really short. Like, it has to be like this short, because I think when you do it here, it's going to be too much. Yeah. You need to come over here, and you can do this, and it will actually rewrite it down below, and you can see Now it's saying that the Pilot is by far the coolest pen, right? You'll have to go put your G3 back in, but if you like that sentence, then you just take this and you come back up here and you go G3. It allows you to create content that's readable by people and interesting. And then once you're done, you can come down here and, write. And the same thing, if you're writing a conclusion, you probably don't want it to pull in any content from the end, because you don't want it to pull from the Pilot G3. That's not going to be helpful to you. But what you do then is, you write your conclusion, and same thing, go export, and you're done. And then what we can do is we'll go ahead and copy this. We're going to jump out over here into power mode. So you've got the focus, which is just focus on writing. And then you can open up power mode. And power mode gives you all of those same options that were open over on the other tools, but within this, so you can actually tweak it a little bit. So let's go ahead. What we're going to do is we're just going to act like the G3 doesn't exist. What we want to do is explain it for a child. So we're going to take our intro and we're going to write it for a 6th grader. And then we'll have it generate. And I typically do 3. I mean, unless I'm really interested in finding a specific wording, you can increase it. I don't tend to leave it at 1 just because I find that it's better the more variations it can make. But it takes this and it tries to break it down into more child-friendly, so reading level can be much lower and still pass the context on to them. So like this one, you could be like, oh, I like this one. You can just go ahead and copy that, or you can actually just copy to clipboard here. But if you click on here, it'll pop it open. You can actually copy. And then you just go in here and be like, oh, I want that one instead. So you can do it that way to add little tweaks. But same thing, if you were to come over here, you can do all of those topic ideas. If you want to add specific stuff, this is where you can pull in more specifics into just long form so that it's not just all writing. You can actually use the other tools. So I hope this made everybody feel a little bit more understanding in how to use Conversion.AI to actually get results. I'll do one after this weekend, maybe on Monday if I can find time. That'll be more around how I typically do it. So I'll start with phrase and build everything, and then once I've got a brief kind of put together, then I bring the brief into here and I start from there building outwards. That way I kind of have a organization to what I'm working on. Well, I'm glad I got to talk to everybody today. Hopefully this was helpful for everyone. I really would appreciate it if you haven't tried Conversion.AI. If you click on my link in the description, it's an affiliate link, so I do get a commission for your sign up. But I promise you, even at $99, my link will give you 10,000 free words, because you'll have words as a limit at 29. I think it's $29.99 right now. If you upgrade to the unlimited words, then those 10,000 still sit there in case you ever downgrade back to the $29 plan, and you would still have those words. But thank you guys. Hopefully this was helpful to everybody, and I'll talk to you guys very soon.